I believe that almost everyone should have a side hustle, and let me just explain. If you're new to the podcast, I cover side hustles and also review and react to other finance gurus on YouTube who make side hustle videos. And I also explain and show my own personal side hustles. And in this one, I'm going to describe why I think that almost everyone should have a side hustle. So the only time I believe that you shouldn't actually have a side hustle is if your main job is a business that you can scale essentially exponentially. So even if you're making $200,000 per year at a job, I would personally recommend a side hustle still because a side hustle can turn into a full-time income that one day could actually replace your job entirely. And who wouldn't want to make the same or more than your current job from a side hustle that happens to blow up? And if you don't at least have some kind of side hustle along with your job, you'll never really know if you could have created a successful business, and you probably will never have your own successful business if you don't even try. I mean, it's going to be pretty hard to fall into something like that. So, for anyone else that's not in this situation of having a successful business right now that's constantly growing and has the potential to keep growing and they're working on that, I personally recommend a side hustle. And a side hustle can mean different things to certain people. So for some people who make $100,000 per year, an extra $200 per month may not seem that cool, but an extra $1,000 a month on a side hustle would seem pretty cool. An extra 12K per year, gonna be a 12% increase, I guess, just the math off my head. But someone making $30,000 per year, $200 per month can be life changing. So for someone making $200 per month with a side hustle that's making $30,000 per year at their job for their yearly income, that bumps you up to 32,400 per year or an 8% raise on your income, which is lower than a lot of companies offer on their raises now on a yearly basis. A lot of people getting 5 to 7% raises and not even getting 8%. For example, my last video that I'll link at the end and also down in the description, I discovered a side hustle from actually one of my reaction videos on this channel that I didn't know about. It's being an Amazon influencer, and in my first month, I made $200 doing that, and I put in like less than 20 hours of work, and I expect the passive income to be at least 100, maybe 200, or it could be even more moving forward. So, with no other work put into it. So, I definitely recommend something like that and check that video out. So, even for someone making $50,000 per year, $200 per month is essentially a 5% raise on your yearly income. $200 a month doesn't seem like a lot, but when you put it in perspective like that, it actually is. So now let's talk about different types of side hustles that you could start. And I should make a full, more in depth video podcast on types of side hustles in the future. So make sure to hit the subscribe button for that, along with all my future side hustle videos. The first type of side hustle is one that you trade your time for money every single time. So this is probably the most common side hustle and an easiest one to start making money. So think mowing lawns, freelance photography, or driving for Uber or Lyft or any of those things, Uber Eats, something like that. For these side hustles, you will need to not only trade your time directly for money in order to make anything, but you also need to pay money up front in order to actually make money with these. So with mowing lawns, obviously you're going to need a lawnmower, but you have to think about other things like the cost of gas to actually drive to the house to mow the lawn, the gas that you actually put in the lawn mower, and other costs you might not even have thought of, such as hydration drinks. You might drink a Gatorade or two while mowing a lawn, and that can cost you $5 for if you're mowing a lawn for $20. You're already cutting out $5 there. Sunscreen cost, which is minimal but something. Equipment repairs if your lawnmower breaks, you need to fix it, and all that adds up. And if you're making $35 an hour mowing lawns, it could be more like, 25. And then with freelance photography, you're going to have to purchase a high quality camera. You're going to have to pay for the gas to drive to the location again, and you got to think about the time spent editing photos as well, not just the actual photo shoot and driving to the photo shoot, and not to mention other equipment and repairs like tripods, bags, other things like that, lenses, and also repairing all of those when something goes wrong. And obviously for Uber and other driving apps, you got to think about the wear and tear on your car, costs of gas are the most obvious ones. What I personally would recommend for a side hustle like this, the first type of side hustle of trading time for money, is something without any startup costs. So babysitting, there's no cost, I guess, driving to the house, but you could do it for your neighbors and you could literally walk there or bike there. Dog walking is another one you could do for your neighbors. Not going to need any equipment. You should be able to pick the dog up and they have the leash for you and the bags to pick up the poop and all that. And more in that area of things that you could trade your time for money. Another one is tutoring. So, you could tutor someone online. You don't have to pay the gas money to drive to their house, or you could have them come to your house for tutoring. And there's no startup costs associated with any of these. So I personally would recommend one of these over something that you have to pay money up front for, because it can be volatile and you might not realize how much money you're actually losing in the process. All right, so the second type of side hustle is one that doesn't necessarily trade your time for money. And let me just explain. With some jobs, you have to be working to make money, and there are other businesses like starting an online store or even a YouTube channel that can make you money as a side hustle. And you do spend time setting up the online store and the marketing for it, or making YouTube videos, but you can make money from it while you're sleeping. You don't have to physically be working on it to be making money. Again, with this business type, I'd suggest starting a business like this with no money down. An online store on Etsy can be made completely for free, and getting organic views and traffic to your site would be probably primarily through social media content, and it could all be free. Same with starting a YouTube channel. You'll have to get monetized to actually start making money, or you could possibly get some sponsors if you have a good amount of subscribers and get good amount of videos as well. But you can do that 100% by yourself, even though the trend right now is these automated YouTube channels, YouTube automation. When you're first starting out, I would just do it 100% yourself. It's not very hard. With YouTube automation, you're going to have to pay someone to edit the video, do the voiceover, make the thumbnail, and possibly even more stuff. And then, before you know it, you spent close to $100 on a video. Your YouTube channel's not monetized yet. You're not going to make any of that money back until it gets monetized, or if it even does get monetized. YouTube's a risky one because you run the risk of creating dozens of videos and never actually getting monetized and not making a single cent from it. But it is a valid side hustle that a lot of people fail at, but when people do succeed at it, it can be exponentially growing over time. So I would suggest starting a YouTube channel 100% by yourself. It is easier than you may think, and the intense editing is going to be nice for a YouTube video, but not always going to be necessary. And I think you could surprise yourself on how good of a video you can actually make on your own and how little time you actually have to put into it. And once you get a hang of a couple videos, you can knock, honestly, a full video out in under an hour. This one right now, I am going to be spending a total of an hour on probably, and it's not the best quality, but it has a lot of good information in it, and the thumbnail and all that is good enough for me. And personally, I have two other YouTube channels with over 1,000 subscribers. One of them has close to 5,000 subscribers, and they're both monetized, making money. They're similar to the way I'm recording now. A lot of them I just do screen recordings of my computer and do a voiceover and it's really easy. It takes me an hour to make those videos as well, and each video I put out can make me $15 to $20 in ad revenue, and some of them even more over time if they blow up a little bit. And I do have sponsors on both of my channels for different products. I'll just tell you, one's a sports betting channel and one's actually about NBA Top Shot. So had sponsors for both in the past, currently have sponsors for the sports betting channel. All right, so now moving on to the third type of side hustle, and that one is passive income. So passive income means you set up a business through hard work and many hours up front, and then you can actually leave it and do nothing to it and still make money, or you can have minimal work, like an hour or two or a few hours, I guess, per week, managing it and working on it. But the majority of the time spent in work is going to be up front, and then basically it's going to keep making money every week, every month. So like I mentioned in my latest video, one of the best passive income opportunities, I think. So definitely check that one out. It'll be linked here at the end of the video in a couple minutes, at the end card and also down below. So another business besides being an Amazon influencer, which that video is about, it's going to be a print-on-demand store, which I did a podcast episode on, so check that one out if you're interested in that. But we did mention starting an Etsy store to sell things on. But if you don't want to be making handmade items or even holding inventory in your house or garage or closet or wherever, then definitely try a print-on-demand store. With print-on-demand stores, you're not going to have to hold the inventory or make things or even ship things out. It's all going to be done for you. You just upload print-on-demand products to your store on Etsy or a website, and when someone makes a purchase, for example, if someone buys something for $30 on your store, it's a print-on-demand item, your credit card's automatically going to get charged from your print-on-demand supplier that you linked up to that item, say $10. If someone paid $30, obviously you're going to make $20 in profit, and you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to get the item and ship it. You don't even have to place an order manually online. It should be 100% linked. There's also a ton of other passive income businesses that you could look into and try as a side hustle, and I personally recommend like the ones I've been talking about that have zero startup costs as well. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this one on why I think everyone should have a side hustle and the 3 different types of side hustles and the ones that I personally recommend. So if you enjoyed this one, subscribe to the channel, check out some of these other videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.